never been.
All right, good morning and welcome to K24 Newspaper Review. What a Friday we've had and what an interesting week we have had. Talk about politics, bare knuckles. Everyone's saying it's time to go hard on each other. Talking about CORD leader, talking about the president on his side leading the Jubilee Brigade. And we saw that playing out in Tala. We saw it playing out in Machakos. We saw it playing out in Taita, where the president was inspecting the SGR report, SGR progress, and also went on to further final phase of connectivity in Tala. The CORD brigade on the other side was in Machakos. And they were saying, you know what? This government is not working. It is not addressing our issues. Corruption is on an all-time high. Insecurity continues to rock and dominate almost headlines in this country. And they're saying in terms of money given to the counties, it is not enough. On the other hand, Jubilee comes forward and says, guys, let us be reasonable. Even when you're doing development, let us think first about Mwananchi. We may oppose each other on ideology, but when it comes to development, why don't you join hands and back me up in what I'm doing? Deputy President goes on the onslaught directly for the Prime Minister and says, the people of this country, after 5 years, will examine us and they'll be clear on two things. Those who have been busy making noise and those who have been busy working for Kenyans. It was that hard in terms of politics. But yesterday, of course, a very humbling session we had in terms of the National Prayer Breakfast. We saw leaders coming together, holding hands, which I thought was a special moment. I was wondering how it felt for Duale to turn aside and see Jacob Medio and hold hands with him. I mean, for a moment there, it felt like, yes, we are united as a Kenyan. But that speech by Yusuf, a member of parliament for, where is this? In Leslie, right there, Kamukunji, saying, Kenya is rising and we must rise as one. We cannot be beaten again. We shall not be condemned. Terrorism shall not cripple this country. But we need to understand that we shall not be divided along our religious line. Let us not have a session where we make the terrorists feel like they have won. But for me, what carried the day was the statement by the president. If indeed we were supposed to take water and preach water, the kind of tribalism, hatred, division, we should not be having it in this country. And he told the politicians, it's time you quit being hypocritical and focus and behave. Let your words reflect what you say and your words mean what they actually mean when you talk about them on the podiums. My name is Chika Karaoke, and the question we're asking you today is, what do you make of the National Prayer Breakfast? Is it an annual ritual, or does it have any impact in this society? Is it an annual ritual, or does it have any impact in this society? That is my guiding question for the day. Hashtag National Prayer Breakfast. At K24 TV is our Twitter handle, at K24 Alfajiri, at ChegeTM, at Remy Majala, my colleague. And of course, let's keep talking on our SMS line. That is 2001 20001. Let's engage and be objective. What do you think? Does it have any impact? I saw some of you tweeting yesterday and saying, you know what, it's time we have policies and not prayers in these countries, because those leaders do not really make sense of all that they go and do at the National Prayer Breakfast. But first, let's take a look at the headlines. But before I get to that, let me introduce you to my two honorable guests. One of them happens to be coming from the people who I love calling men of the cloth. I don't know why they never say lady of the cloth. My Apostle Magdalene, how come Akunanga lady of the cloth? You always say men of the cloth. Is that part of the issues that we should address in the gender rule?
First of all, I'm saved Jesus Christ is my personal Lord and Savior.
Amen.
But in God, we are all men.
Oh, okay. So in God, there's no division about the lady.
No,
all
there's
right.
no gender.
But in politics, it's a clear division. And of course, a man who stood out when he came to the rally in Tala and said, gentlemen, there's a verse in the Bible which I will allow him to quote for us. Mheshimiwa Joe Mutamu, Gwingi Central Member of Parliament. Some of your verse tender.
Check it before we go there.
Yes.
I saw you posting my photo there.
Yes.
And that was, I think, that was yesterday's paper.
No, I want us to do something. Don't worry about these pictures.
And before we go there,
yes,
you know, I want you to know one thing.
Yes.
I'm a socialist.
True.
And I know, I mean, I go through my social media and everything.
True.
And I'm reliably informed that today is your birthday. The only thing I can do is to sing, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Chege, happy birthday to you. How are you now? Because I knew when I was in Machakos. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. To share this like moment with you. It's your birthday and happy birthday to you.
I'm so humbled. Wow. Ambassador, this is a serious surprise, extreme surprise. Wow. My leg of love thought has just disappeared. But yes.
Anyway, back to what I said.
Yes.
When I was in, not Machakos actually, it was, I mean not Tala, it was in Machakos.
Yes.
I said this. I respect Bible. I'm a Christian. I staunch Catholic.
Yes.
And there's one thing I know. That in anything you do,
yes,
you will always have people fighting you. And that reminded me that verse of the Bible. Actually, it is in Psalms chapter 110, verse 2. And since I have a man of God,
yes,
she will testify to that.
Yes.
I don't take the whole thing, but I like the last sentence, which says, "You shall rule amidst your enemies." Wow. Check it. In the work we do, we get a lot of enemies.
True.
And if you're not strong enough, actually you can leave it and say, hey, you know what? I don't want it. But when you reverse that sentence,
yes,
what is written in the scripture,
yes,
you understand the meaning of you shall rule amidst your enemies. Then you say, or you take it to your mind that the Bible does not lie. If the Bible says that I'll rule amidst the enemies, and if I do not have enemies, then the Bible will be lying. So in this sense, let me soldier on because the Bible do not lie. So I want those enemies to come on my left and my right so that I can rule amidst.
Amen.
Talk about having a Friday morning with some serious divine presence in this place. So, of course, let me take you very briefly on the highlights as we discuss the issues. State House mess aborts Uhuru's trip. Deputy President to represent the head of state at inauguration of Nigerian President-elect in Abuja as the delegation is trimmed down from a number of 84, and the story continues. And, of course, a long time, Moody, remember there was all those reports going around that the former vice president had passed on? And it was such a humbling presence to see him during the National Prayer Breakfast. And even the Minister for Interior Coordination said, well, you know, they had killed Uncle Moody and he's here and he's alive and he's doing well. Another budget hitch as MPs plot to block the 3.3 billion raise in the counties. But first of all, I want us to focus on this. The State House mess about Uhuru trip. Remember the headline yesterday on the People Daily? 84 in Uhuru delegation to Buhari's fate. Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
What is the number? What is the required number for the president to move around? Because 84, I thought, was way too high. And now, as a result of that, we are having an aborted trip, and the president is going to be represented by the deputy president. And of course, we saw the Ministry of Interior Foreign Affairs saying the president will be attending an emergency meeting in Uganda of the Great Lakes, which I felt for me was just a mere excuse. What do you think about this?
Well, for me, I don't micromanage the diary of the State House. And I cannot do that. And I cannot say that the trip was, the president cancelled the trip because the delegation was too huge. I cannot say that. I don't want to go there.
Okay.
Number two, I'll tell you, Chege, as a Mutambo, you know, when you go out, you get per diem.
Yes.
You get paid per diem.
40,000, I was made to understand yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll tell you for free. since I was elected a member of parliament, members of parliament go out for committee trips.
Yes.
And the records are there in the parliament, and you can go to the clerk and check by yourself. And I want you to go and see whether Mutambo has been paid for any trip outside the country. I have never gone outside the country on a committee trip. The only
Are
thing
you saying you are not in a committee that never travels?
I am in a committee which travels.
Okay.
But I have never, ever, on any single day, gone outside. The only day I went out was when I went to represent Kenya in football in Tanzania here.
When you're playing against your fellow legislators?
When we were playing against Tanzania,
Yes.
I mean, when we had the parliamentary games.
Yes.
And the other trip I went, and actually I paid on my own, was that trip I went in China when the president went there. Actually, I paid my own money. But the government said, you know what, this was a government, I was an official duty,
Yes.
you have to be refunded your money. So I'll tell you for free, I do not want to be paid by the government to go outside. Now, these 44 members of delegation, of presidential delegation, we need to know who are they, why were they there. Maybe they ought to be there in one way or the other. Sometimes we criticize everything.
That's true.
84 is, to me, when I go out or when I go to Mingi from here, I go with a delegation of about 50 people who want to support Mutambo. Some of them, actually, for your information, they pay their own air ticket. Wow. For God's sake. So
yes.
we can jump to criticize and say, President 84 members of delegation, but we need to know, maybe among those 84, maybe 50 paid for their trip.
Yes.
I'm businessmen. They wanted to go and accompany the president. I don't see anything wrong. So
yes.
I will not be the first one to cast the stone. What I will say, if the 84 were meant to be, the expense was to be cutted by taxpayers' money, then this is wrong, because this is a huge number. But if most of them were paying for themselves, which I believe most of them would pay for themselves, all right? Because it happens. I have done it before. I paid for my own trip. So I don't think it should be really an issue. But because we are in a world of politics,
yes.
we're going to play the game. So
true.
Anything you see, any small thing you see,
yes.
you will make fuss out of it. And to me, I don't think that is fair.
Is that the media's role? Here we have the list.
Yes. Yes.
And according to what I saw on the list, the government officials were 3 to 23, there were 20. Delegation from the Kenya High Commission were 9. Ministry of Foreign Affairs were 10. State House had 8 more. The Presidential Press Service had 5. Household State House had 4. Security was close to 13. Support staff were actually 6, 7, 8, leading to 84.
Let me tell you something.
Looks like it's an all-government official.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
We are talking of 84. I'll bet you one thing. Wait until Obama comes home.
But they can afford it, Mheshimiwa.
Wait until Obama comes home. The hotel you'll be living,
it's the whole hotel, he'll take it up.
You tell me. And actually, he will even manage his own security.
Well, we were actually told the breakdown is 5.6 billion to be spent in his 8-hour trip to Kenya.
How much is President Ruto going to spend?
Roughly, it was coming to around 180 million. Yes.
So,
but can we compare the two, Mheshimiwa?
You see, we have a country.
Yes.
Okay? And we have to run the affairs of the state.
True.
Whether we like it
or not.
Yes. Right? And this is not the first time. Do you remember, and I'm not saying this because my party leader used to take this diploma, what was it?
Shuttle diplomacy.
Yeah. How many people?
That was the first time we learned about that word.
How many people used to be in that trip?
It used to be a whole delegation.
Why were you then?
I was still here.
Why are people not raising any issues? So what am I trying to say? I am trying to say we have a country.
We have a country.
And we have a president.
Yes.
Let him run the country. Right?
So he has a
the
role.
moment we start taking a toothpick
Yes.
and pinpoint every full stop and every comma and everything which is happening in this country, we will leave the bigger issues and concentrate on the small issues, and we delay the whole process of development in this country. That is what I would say. If I were the president,
yes,
what I would do, yes, some people would, because people try to look at a small thing and pick it out and blow it out and make an elephant out of a mouse. All right? Try to make it as a big issue.
Yes.
I'll tell you, if they spend maybe 100 million or 50 million or 20 million shillings, I'll tell you, if I organize my own rally in Okambani,
it will even cost more.
It will cost me something to do with 2-3 million shillings to do a small rally in Ukambani.
So we should not be making a lot of noise.
We should not be making a lot of money on this, just a delegation of it.
Speaking of people who normally work with huge delegations, I bring in the apostle here. If you are traveling to Nigeria, how many people would escort you? Or when you're doing your numerous conferences, because I'm made to understand you normally have a host of them.
Yeah.
How many people move with you?
It will depend on what I'm going to do there.
Okay.
Because if I'm going to Nigeria and I have so many conferences,
yes,
I need somebody to be in one state, prepare maybe like 10,
yes,
preparing for maybe...
That's the advanced team.
Yeah. And still there is a team that I'll go with.
Yes.
And maybe there is a team I will leave behind from me after that. So it depends with what the president is going to do.
Okay.
And again, it depends on his rank. Mheshimiwa has said it very clearly. The president, this is the president of the whole country.
That's true.
We don't expect him to behave as though he was a counselor down there. Because we still want him to have that dignity.
Yes.
Because he carries our image. He carries our image. We cannot be like him. And we should, again, protect him. Which I don't think there is
Doesn't he carry an image when he moves with the Lina team? If he went with 7 people, he wouldn't look like a serious president?
No, it depends, especially this season, when we are talking about security. It depends, again, what he's going to do there. And again, all the same, things like this one, I don't think it's fair to expose them. Because when he exposed the president, we are exposing ourselves. Remember, he's standing on our gap.
Yes.
And remember, he's the person who is taking care of all of us. So when we are criticizing everything, we should, especially the Mheshimiwas, they should go. They have the phone numbers. They exchange their numbers. Why don't they call him? And if there is anything wrong that is within the wrist, they correct it behind the scene. We want positive talk, because people are fed up with this confusion, because it's not helping anybody.
Joe, I bring you in at this point again. When we elected President Uhuru Kenyatta, one of the promises he made was coming in with a leaner government, a more cost-effective managing government. We saw the number of ministers reduced from a huge lot to 20. But then again, when we see this kind of headlines, people start asking, how committed is this Jubilee government in terms of tackling a bloated expenditure?
Yeah, if you remember very well,
yes,
I'm a crusader of bloated wage bill. And I always fight against misusing public funds. But as much as I do so, there are issues you let go. For example, when you're here, let's say, for example, this is what you got to do. You have to run this show this morning. You need 3 cameramen. Do you need 1 cameraman because you want to do your show? I mean, you have to cut down the we cannot
compromise on quality.
You cannot compromise on quality.
True.
She has said the issue of security. When you clicked on that list, I saw the security. Okay? Everybody today would want to take the other out. Right? And it is important also to make sure that when the president of Republic of Kenya is carrying the flag of Kenya, is not carrying a flag of Jubilee, is carrying a flag of Kenya, is representing the country. If anything goes haywire out there, all right?
It is the president of Kenya.
It is the same people who will say, we told you. You see, these people cannot manage. The moment you try to manage, they'll come again and tell you, we told you these people are wasting Kenyan money. So in one way, that's why I quoted that first. In one way or the other, somebody somewhere will raise up their mouth and they'll say something negative or criticize. And the only thing we can do is to take the criticism positive and you move on. The moment you drill on that small issues, because to me, I don't think a delegation of even 100 people, to me, I don't think is a big number. Actually, when we went to play football in Tanzania, we went a delegation of about 60. All right, and we just want to play football. This is a president of our.
But the taxpayers' money, Mheshimiwa, people will say it's our taxpayers' money. Why
Do you
can't
know
we
how
be-
much is spent by taxpayers' money? Do you know how much is being wasted out there? Do you know? You see, that's what I'm telling you. You see, once you concentrate on only one institution and look at these small things, you forget the big things happening out there. This is my argument. Okay, I do not want the taxpayers' money to be squandered or to be misused in any manner.
Yes.
All right. But also on the other hand, there is also, the security of the president of the republic, not security for Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of, the security of the president of Kenya. I don't care who. Maybe she's the president. Maybe it's Tisi Mutambo. It has to be in order, in one way or the other.
We cannot compromise.
We cannot compromise. That one, let me tell you, even tomorrow, because we want to elect Kalonzo Musyoka to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, I will defend him. I will say you cannot expose the president of the Republic of Kenya. I want the Raila Amolo Odinga to be elected tomorrow to be the president of the Republic of Kenya. I will not want, to send Raila Amolo Odinga, not even to Abuja, where there is this, what do you call the Oga what? These guys, yeah?
Boko Haram.
Boko Haram.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I will not expose him. I will not even send him to Uganda with a delegation of 5 people. No, definitely no.
So he has to move in his status.
I saw a speaker of Senate coming to Uganda with a delegation of 10, 15 men. All right? Nobody said nothing. So this is, and what are they going to do?
Okay.
What is the president going to do? Is he going to represent the country? So, for God's sake, let us not pick these small issues because of we are fighting against misusing public funds. Let us not take it that way.
What do you have to say?
What I have to say is that a time has come that we should change.
Okay.
And the only person who can help us to change is God. So I think we need, and this is why we had prayers yesterday, to pray even for the president, to pray for our leaders, because they need God, they need power. Because when we are throwing negative energy upon their lives, they cannot be able to help us. When we are only criticizing, we cannot, they cannot be able to support us as much as they want. We should remind ourselves that the president is a human being like anybody else. The delegates, if they were correct, if they are going to do the work as we have chosen them to do, they should be allowed to do what they are doing. Because God will not be happy when we are attacking the president, we are attacking the authority, because Romans 13
But the question comes in,
us to do that.
Are we allowed to criticize when things are going wrong?
We are allowed to correct.
Correct.
Not
Yes.
criticizing. We are allowed to correct.
Those are two different words, right?
Those
there?
are two different words.
Okay.
We are allowed to correct.
All right.
Yes.
On the Daily Nation, Uhuru trips called off over joyrider scandal again. Where with the Star? Judge gives 43 billion deal to go ahead. Owners of Kenha Road. Female varsity student support bill to scrap women reps seats. Okay, interesting. I'm sure Apostle has a lot to say about issues to do with women. Jubilee MP's new plot to kill deal on county cash. Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
you are among the people who really have serious issues when it comes to matters of the counties.
Yes.
3.3 billion shillings is what has been proposed. But apparently it's facing stiff opposition. Are we ever going to get it right in terms of devolution in this country?
You know, Chege, some few months when I was here, talking about bloated wage bill and control of public funds, people thought that I was crazy. But I wasn't. When I took my bill to Parliament, I was told, Mutambu, please, go slow. Let us appoint a team of experts. Let the team of experts audit the Constitution and make a recommendation on the way forward. And to my surprise, Chege, what I told them then,
Yes.
what I recommended in my bill is what was brought forward by this committee, which was paid 80 million shillings. Now we are raising an issue of the president going with the 84 people, and we are not going back to the books and check. If Mutambo was paid something to do with the 300,000 shillings as salary, plus allowances and blah, 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 comes 800,000 shillings, okay, he earns that, and he came up with a very nice proposal to trim the wage bill,
yes,
and to downsize everything and to put everything in order. And he brought that document, and we rejected that document. And today, we are accepting the same document after spending 80 million. Why are we not checking that? We are not. There are no checks and balances. We are not going back to our books. What are we doing? We are just concentrating on a small things. So when I told Kenyans, this wage bill is too high, we are collecting barely 900 billion, vis-a-vis a budget of 1.8 trillion, a difference of 50%.
50% right there.
All right? This was my argument. And I said we can do better with a leaner, counties, with small, with maybe less counties, maybe 10 or 12 maximum.
Yeah.
People thought that Mutambo was joking. And I said also,
you are among the people who are killing devolution.
That was the target. That was the target.
Yes.
Actually, I want this devolution, to stay. I want this devolution is there to stay. I want it to be there. But how are we going to manage it? Are we going to manage it with 50, 100 semi-demigods? No. You saw, I watched with disbelief when these governors, they were electing their chair.
The new chair, yeah.
The new chair.
Yeah.
And they were saying 48 governments, one country.
Yes.
Right? Then you sit down and reflect. You know what we do today? We do because we are getting bread and butter on the table.
Yes.
Do we think of implication we'll get in the near future? Actually, I'm calling it near future because I don't see after next general election, and take this from me, and I'm telling you today, after next general election, the president who will be elected 2017, he will have a very rough time with these 47 governors.
I'll tell you. It will be
a
walk in the park.
No, it will not be a walk in the park. It will not be, a bed of roses. I tell you for sure. The politics in this country is going to change dramatically because these people feel that we have our own country. They have their own...
there were 47 His Excellency in town.
Yes, they have their own first ladies, they have their ministers, they have their everything. And the question is, okay, ask somebody from K24, all right? We gave you 6 billion last year, right? You returned 3 or 2-point-something billion. Why do you need another money? If what I gave you last year, you never spent. This is the question. You are not able to exhaust what we gave you. And the money the members of parliament are talking about, we are being told this budget is for emergencies. You see, what is this emergency? What are we anticipating? Why are we giving somebody a blank check? And what we are telling them, please tell us why do you and for what purpose do you need this money? They cannot explain why they need this money. That is where the problem is. But because the Kenyans are not told that, the only thing they get is that the members of the National Assembly, they are opposing the counties to. Actually, if you send 100 billion, 100 billion into K24, I'll be happy, man. But the question is, who is going to implement those projects you are giving this money to? First, let us make the institutions operate in a good manner. Once these institutions are in a position to operate, give them whatever money they want. But right now, we are chewing more than you can swallow. That's the problem.
From where you sit as a man of God, when you look at all this confusion in devolution, you might argue it politically. But remember, you're the people in the counties. What do you make of all these devolution issues?
For me, I don't want to get into politics. I'll leave it to Mheshimiwa, but I'll just give an overview view from God's point of view, that God is making everybody to bow. And even the wise are no longer wise.
Okay.
The strong are no longer strong because he wants to rule the world. And immediately the governors, the president, or whoever it is, reminds himself that there is a God who lives in heaven, and through Jesus Christ, He's living among us.
But do you think
better
they
for
have
them.
that moment?
They will have it because we are praying, and
They
we
will
are
have that moment when they come seek votes and when they come for your haram.
No. When
they're outside, they are His Excellencies. I mean, they are the first ladies. You're supposed to address them.
They can call themselves that, but
yes.
it's just for 5 years. So why don't we allow the most excellent person who is always there, who has been there and who is to come? Why don't they allow God to help them? Because it's not easy to be a governor, to rule over so many people. Even to be a president is not easy. You need God. And this is where the problem is coming from. Because when the Mheshimiwas, we elect them, they just focus on the votes, they focus on the money, they focus on the parliament, they don't focus up. They don't realize.
They forget about up there.
They forget about there. They don't realize that it's God who commanded people to choose them. They never chose themselves. It's not people who chose, although they were used to choose. It's God who chose them, and He can be able to remove them. So immediately they arouse themselves to accept that. And again, they should know, even if the law of the land will not catch up with them, there is God who can catch up with them. Because we have been hearing, there are even those Mheshimiwas who are supporting even people to kill each other. I don't know how true that is, but if it is true, whoever is supporting maybe the killers or is behind, maybe paying some young people to kill other people, that is a divine issue, and God will intervene. So it's up to them, not just to like behave as though there is no God. In Kenya, we have God. There can be a lot of confusion, but I'm telling you, at the end of the day, God will rule this country, and He will humble everybody here.
Talking about politics, we have had an interesting week. Mheshimiwa John Mutambo, you attended one of the rallies.
Yes.
On an all high level, are we being treated to a campaign mode in this country? We saw Jubilee going hard on CORD, and the Deputy President actually coming forward and say, you know what, the people of this country, in a few years' time, will be able to do an examination of the leaders we have. And the questions will be, wale walipiga kelele, na wale walifanya kazi. Na kila mtu atapatiwa marks zake. But before I ask you that question, we have those specific bites from the hard-knocking politics, and just take a look at what has been happening. CORD versus Jubilee. It's a face-off.
Simama ni matusi, kila siku kisimama ni mambo ya kuokoa sijui nini na kuokoa ingine nani. Mimi sijui mambo haya kama ndio itatusaidia kuhakikisha ya kwamba Wakenya wanaweza kupata ile huduma ambayo wanastahili.
Kwa sababu ya wizi tumekuwa na wabahili huko juu. Wabahili, mtu ambaye mali yake haitoki. Sawa? Wamekaa ngumu na pesa kule juu. Ndio sababu sasa tumesema mjinga arevuke. Sawa?
Hii mambo ya kila siku kisimama ni matusi, kila siku kisimama ni mambo ya kuokoa sijui nini na kuokoa ingine nani. Mimi sijui mambo haya kama ndio itatusaidia kuhakikisha ya kwamba Wakenya wanaweza kupata ile huduma ambayo wanastahili.
Wanataka kutugawanya. Wanafikiri sisi ni wajinga. Atigawanye ndio utawale. Sisi hatuwezi tumwambia hao ng'oo.
Kuna haja ya kila saa tuwe tunapigana. Gavana hata akiwa hapa, hata akiwa ni gavana wa CORD, mimi sijali, kwa sababu walichaguliwa na wale wananchi ambao pia walichagua. Kazi ikiisha ya uchaguzi, tuende kazi ya kuhudumia Wakenya.
Sasa mtaanza kuona wanatoa statistics ya kwamba ukiingia kwa serikali utapata 20% ni Waluya, au Waluya ni watchmen, wapiga chai na wanaofagia. Wale ambao wameshika juu wote, tuwaulize watuhesabie managing directors wa parastatal ni wangapi kutoka wapi.
Wakati wa siasa ukija tutapiga siasa. Lakini sasa viongozi tukae pamoja, tuheshimiane, kama kuna mahali ambapo tunaweza kusaidiana, tusaidiane.
Yesu angerudi leo aone ile watu wa Jubilee wanafanyia wa Kenya, yeye pia angelia.
Kuna siku hawa wananchi watatufanyia mtihani. wenye makelele watasaishiwa makelele, wenye kazi watapatiwa alama za kazi.
Wakati tulipitisha katiba hii tukasema tunataka serikali za ugatuzi, hatukusema ndio tuwe tunapigana jamani. Tulikuwa tunasema ndio hizo serikali tuziwezeshe kufanya kazi na serikali kuu iweze kufocus pia.
Well, there you had it. Yesu akirudi leo, aone Kenya Jubilee nafanyia wa Kenya, atalia.
Sasa,
you are the person who goes in the middle for us. You tell us.
Nitajibu hivyo tu ameongea. Niseme Yesu hawezi lia. Yesu ni Mungu na wasimuingize kwa mambo kama hiyo. Kuona hiyo ni matusi. Kile kiko mimi inanisubua. Na naamini kuna watu wengi sana wanasubuka. Nyinyi viongozi.
Muongeleshe ndio huyo.
Yeah, nyinyi viongozi. Kwa nini mliamua tu kuleta mambo kama hii mbele zetu? Kwa maana nyinyi wazazi. Kwetu tunawachukua viongozi kama wazazi. Kwa nini wakuje wapigane? Wazazi wakuje wapigane mbele ya watoto. Kwaona hii ni mambo yao. Hawa watu kile mimi inanishangaisha. Mkienda kwa kukunywa chai mko pamoja. Mna simu, wewe unaweza pigia mwenzako na muongee. Mkienda bugeni mko pamoja. Kwa nini msitatue hii mambo? Kwaona kupiganisha watu sio vizuri. Kupiganisha, kuchochea watu sio Mungu. Kuchochea watu, kukosoa mwingine ukijua huna ukweli. Kwaona wacha nikuelezee na nitaongea hivyo hadharani. Hakuna wakati upinzani wataweza kufaulu kama hawapingi ukweli na ukweli. Kwaona huwezi kupinga ukweli na uongo. Ukipinga ukweli na uongo hautatoboa. Ukipinga mazuri hautatoboa. You cannot defeat good. You cannot defeat good. You cannot be able to oppose what is right. So mimi kile ningeomba ni wanachunguza.
No, talk to him. He's right
kile
there.
ningeomba mnachunguzana nyinyi wenyewe. Kwa maana kuna mambo mengine hamtaki mlete kwa siasa.
Let him answer you.
Check it. With all due respect.
Yes.
Let me tell.
Are we in a campaign mood?
Let me tell lady or the man of God.
Yes.
The Bible is very clear. It says there is time for everything. Right?
I agree.
There is time to do politics. There is time to work for people.
Okay.
There is time to cry, and there is time to laugh. You cannot do both. You cannot cry and laugh at the same time.
At the same time.
You cannot whistle and blow your nose at the same time. But on the other hand, I want her to understand the name politics.
Politics.
And the politicians. Politicians are not reverends. They are not bishops. They are not apostles. They are politicians. When a man of God goes to church, the only thing they will shout is amen. Hallelujah.
True.
Bwana asifiwe.
True.
The only thing a politician will do the moment they get that mic is huyu ni muongo, yule ni mzuri, mimi nitawafanyia.
Yes.
And that is their trade.
Can the two mix?
And the two cannot mix. Let me tell you.
Let me answer you on that one first.
Let me tell you. Today, I'm seated here with a man of God.
Yes.
Like we said, we address them like men of God.
True.
The moment Margaret Wanjiru went out there to vie for the seat.
Yes. Yes.
Of Kamukunji, was it Kamukunji or where?
Yes.
Okay?
Starehe, actually, yes.
Margaret, it came a time when Margaret said, this is not time to close my eyes and pray. It is time to talk politics. To tell people the real issue. Ni kupambana
kisiasa.
Okay.
Now, so, when somebody is doing their thing,
yes,
give them space to do their thing. What we are doing today,
yes,
these are politicians playing the game. They are playing the game of politics. What people need now to, well, let me go to my point.
Yes.
What people now need to understand, they need to understand, now Kenyans need to understand, the time has come when Kenyans need to realize we do not need Mutambo to tell us what to do.
All right.
Or who to vote for.
Are we getting there?
That is where we are heading now. You know, everything changes. We are not yet there.
Yes.
But that is going to change. There is a time when you come to Mwingi Central constituency. People will do what Mutambo will tell them. When you go to Kitui region, people will do or will vote according to what they've been told by the person they perceive to be the king of Kitui. When you come to Machakos, people will vote according to what they've been told by the king of Machakos, what they've been told by the king of Central. What we need to do now, and this is the work of now the men of God.
Yes.
You need to tell people.
Throw back the challenge.
The time has come for people now to make their own decision. For people to know, I mean, I can make my decision. I can vote the person I want, not because I'm influenced by so and so.
Then
and
are you equipping Kenyans?
the moment we reach that point, we will not see this, because it doesn't matter how much I talk. It doesn't matter how much I insult my opponent. It doesn't matter how many names I call you. The people down there, they will make their own independent choice.
Are you doing that? Before you respond to that, I have Sam from Ruiru. Sam, good morning. Hello? Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Sam, how are you?
Niko mzima, I'm very okay, sir.
Yes, talk to me.
I'm doing well. Yes, I'm Mwai from Ruiru. Na ningetaka kuhusika katika huu mjadala kuchangia yani.
Changia Sam.
Kuna shida moja ya viongozi. Hawa viongozi baada ya kuwachagua hawakumbuki mwananchi wa kawaida. Ukiangalia shida zilizoko ni katika kaunti nyingi, ni shida ambazo hata ni afadhali tungelikuwa na ugatuzi. Kwa sababu magavana wenyewe na viongozi wenyewe wanajitajirisha wenyewe. Hakuna miradi ambayo inaweza saidia mwananchi wa kawaida. Wengi wao katika zile pesa ambao ni wamegawiwa, hizi pesa zote wanapeleka ni katika njia zingine. Na wanapofika hapo 2017 wakoje waseme nitamfanyia hili. Lakini sasa mwananchi wa kawaida ameshaerefuka. Na kuona kwamba hii miradi lazima itekelezwe. Hatutakubali tena kueleza kwamba hali ya miradi tutachagua kiongozi ambaye ni mcha Mungu, kiongozi ambaye tutakuwa kama vile mama wetu wanasema pale, tunajaribu kutafuta mtu ambaye ni divine, ambaye akona spiritual divine, ambazo italete usaidizi katika mwananchi wa kawaida. Ukiangalia vile wanagombana katika runinga, ni hivi sasa kwamba wanapinga maendeleo. Kueleza mwenyewe maendeleo gapi anafanya, hawafanyi wale. Walikuwa serikalini miaka iliyopita. Walikuwa uongozini wao wenyewe. Ni mradi upi wanaweza onyesha, kama mheshimiwa Mtambo. Kule ndio rais, makamu wa rais alitoka. Mradi gani aliletea wale watu? Niliambia sehemu zile. Hauna maji yanapitia kule ya Tanariza. Kwa nini yale maji yasiweze kuharvestiwa, yafanye irrigation katika sehemu ile? Watu wanalia njaa. Watu wanalia nini? Na county government inapata mabilioni ya pesa.
Asante sana sana.
Angalia vile kule kuko nyuma.
Juu ya wakati utakukate hapo.
Lakini hakuna kitu county government inaweza fanyia mahali kule. Hata huko kwetu Ruiru ni vile vile. Barabara hazimo.
Asante sana. The challenge has been thrown, and I want Mutambo to respond to that, because we're saying Mwananchi is always taken for granted waiting for an election year. The counties have allocated themselves money, but the projects they're initiating are for a legacy of a specific person, not for the legacy of Wanjiku or the ground. But before Mutambo raised that serious challenge, are you equipping as a church? Because you have a huge congregation you guys command. Are you equipping Kenyans to realize it's time to make decision based on the policies and ideologies that are sold by politicians?
That's what I'm doing here. That's what I'm doing, because Mheshimiwa has said politics, they have to lie, they have to abuse one another. And for me, I refuse, because they must do responsible politics. They must consider that there are children in there, there are people who are not happy with what they are saying. And even if they will pray politics, a time will come, the judgment will come. And again, they are attracting the anger of God towards this country. Because when they are lying to us, and when they are abusing one another, as parents before children, God will not just sit there. And this is why I'm warning them to stop this. If it is like the COD or the Jubilee, why don't they bring their manifesto to the people and then we choose just the way we are.
But
we
their
are
manifesto
preaching.
is in politics. They will talk politics when
Yeah,
they come to you.
but they should not throw words to one another. They should not throw one.
Oh, your issue is throwing words to one another.
One another, as if they are enemies, and they are just pretending out there. When they go back there, they are drinking together, they are eating together, they are praying with the mind of a array person. And this is what I don't want. And this is what we preachers are saying. We don't, they are doing, they are part of God's work. They are doing God's work. Because the government of the day and the government of heaven must work hard in hard. Because they are caring for the same people. We are doing the spiritual matters too. But then we must tell them, because most of them come to our churches. So we must tell them.
When they come to the same church, they use the same podium kusema, unajua kuna wengine mmesikia wakikuja hapa and na wanadanganyana na nini. You give them the same platform. Hello, good morning. Final phone call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Nimeona vile hawa wazee huyo mzee amesema.
Yes.
Kusema ukweli, kuseme kama wale ambao wa politician hawajaokoka. Kazi yao ni uongo na kusema nini? Hiyo kitu ndio tutakataa, sababu uongo tunajua hapo upande wa shetani.
All right. Asante sana.
Na hawezi apaongoza wana wa Mungu kama sisi tunaabudu Mungu wetu.
All right. Mheshimiwa, the challenge has been thrown back to you. You take layman's for granted. Mwananchi is just for granted. But when you go back, you wine and dine with the same people you say, huyu alidanganyana, huyu alifanya nini. You are together in unison as fellow politicians. What is the plan here?
You see, the reason why I threw you this challenge to the men of God, it is because our society, including you, Chege, and me, and everybody, what we like most and what we laugh at lies. We like lies. Okay? True. Chege, sometimes if you say the truth, the naked truth, you will not be celebrated.
That's
right?
true. That's
and
very true.
If you stand on a podium and you tell people the truth, which I do, you get very few enemies actually. Those who are there. But the people who understand what you tell them, they take it home. I'll tell you for free. If you pass to your, today is your birthday, and if you pass, see your former girlfriend.
Yes.
When you get home, you will not tell your wife, you know what, I passed somewhere and I met my former girlfriend and she took me out.
Yes.
You will lie to your wife so that she's happy.
So is it a culture we celebrate?
So in one way, it's like a culture. That is how people are, and politics are like that. When I stand here and I say, I support what the government is doing, not because I am a member of Jubilee, but it is because what has been done in Ukambani, it's going to help the people of Ukambani. My fellow members of parliament think that I'm a Jubilee more, all right? So what do I have to say? I say, no, I do not support Jubilee because I am a Jubilee more. The fact is, I support what they do because it is helping the people of where I come from. When I supported the bill, this is a security bill, I was almost being slayed by my colleagues. They are saying, why are you supporting this?
You are a mole.
But the question was, I buried people who were killed. And anything to do with the security for my people, I will support it. Nobody want to look at it from that. Nobody would want to look at it from that perspective. What they want to see is that I support this side and not this side. Period. Two, that's what I'm saying. The public, the people, we need to change our perception. We need to change the way we think. We need to change from, like I said before, it is Mutambo who said we need to vote for Chege. We need to elect Chege as our member of parliament. And because Mutambo has said, let us follow Mutambo. I want that Shushu, that Mwende, that Mutua, that Musyoka, that other person down there to reflect on their own. Because you cannot sit here and say you are preaching democracy and you do not let that poor man down there to exercise that democracy by making their own choice. True. So if we leave these people to make their own choice, because today if I go anything, let's say for example I say, I want to be the president of Kambani. The entire Kamba region will say, wewe unaharibu sisi tukikuwa president. Tungeachia huyu angekuwa. Wewe They don't think that I have that right as a Kenyan to
be
fight for
able-
that seat. All right? They
I
think
want you
that
to
I'm
talk to the-
spoiling,
I want you to talk-
they will think I'm
Yes.
spoiling for somebody.
Yes.
The moment they understand that they have the freedom space to choose, if it is me, they tell me, go to hell. Don't tell me by mouth that I'm spoiling. Show by action. Don't vote for me. Vote for the person you feel is the right person.
In a nutshell, because my director is telling me my time is up now, I'm already done 1 hour and 15 minutes. I don't believe it. Talk to the people, talk to your church, talk to the Kenyans in 30 seconds. What do they need to do moving forward?
Okay.
30 seconds.
First of all, I'll correct what Mheshimiwa has
Yes.
said, that there is time for everything. Yes, there is time for everything, but not for evil. There
Okay.
is no time for evil. There is no time
But evil
for
always
a
finds
lie.
its way.
Yes,
Yes.
but God is overtaking all this.
Okay.
The season we are in is the season of truth. And I believe there are so many Mheshimiwas are watching. And watch 2017. God will take over and no lies will enter to that parliament. Because we are going to pray and we are going to teach people in the churches how to erect a leader according to the will of God. So people should be encouraged that a time is coming and the season of the truth is here. The truth has not been popular, but I'm telling you it's becoming popular because people are tired of lies. The time for good news is already here with us because people are tired of bad news. Bad news, seeing politics, that's not helping anybody. Politicians come to the church when they want election to be elected, they get saved, they backslide the other day.
2 seconds.
And that must stop. So
Okay.
Kenyans, just watch what God is just about to do.
Mheshimiwa, please stick to 30 seconds. I know you're a politician. Within that to 30 seconds. Yes.
As I say, Ben, I would also want to correct. I did not say there is time for evil.
Yes.
I only said, as it is in the Bible, that there is time for everything. And what I would want to do is to tell Kenyans that this time round, don't expect Butambu what to do. Make your own choice.
Decision.
Let people make their own decision. And also those leaders who are out there who think that I control this region, I control that region. Let Uhuru Kenyatta not think that he controls Central. Let the people of Central free, for God's sake. People of Mombasa, those people who are there, let the people of Mombasa free. Let them make their own choice. People of Ukambani, whoever is in Ukambani, let people of Ukambani free, for God's sake, because this, God says, let my people free to make their own choice.
Amen.
All right. Here we have it. I'm told I'm linking to Mchesi. All right, I'm going to take a break at that point because my able crew, led by one weekly for Randy, Paulo Mchesi, Joseph Mauro, Fred Arocho, I'm told they're in Kasarani for the training of the hockey team, I'm sure. No, the national football women's team. Thank you so much. And I'm sure Mchesi will be linking us up to see the preps. They'll be qualifying for the Olympics. They have games ahead. They'll be telling us, are they ready? Remember, it's the women's team. We have to support them. For politics, make your own decision. Be a free man. Be a free man. Thanks so much for watching Newspaper Review. Coming up shortly, the Sports Focus.